In Table Battle Simulator, you own a store that collects and sells tabletop figures. There are layers to it, including that you can battle in this Teamfight Tactics like autobattler, which I think is quite innovative in this simulator genre. What I really enjoyed about this game is, first of all, it has the core down. So obviously you buy packs, you want to shelve them. It's really smooth how you shelve things. So if you put a new type of item in the same shelf, it automatically adjusts the price. It is very smooth and I actually really enjoyed the simplicity of it. Additionally, you can easily hire employees. So I got a cashier and they were doing the bulk of the job, and you can focus on actually collecting the figures, building your own decks, and enjoying the game. Now, before we talk about the board game itself, when you open packs, you unlock these figures and they have different ranks, and you need to put at least 10 within your deck. You can also unlock perk cards. These are perks that gives like a bonus during the battle, and you kind of have to figure out a kind of decent strategy of like putting a deck together with figures that make sense. So they have like a race system, so you have like the undead, hell, nightmare, soldier, light. So kind of like teamfight tactics, and trying to build a good balanced deck is very useful. Now when it comes to the gameplay itself of the minigame, it is much quicker and easier than teamfight tactics, and for example, you can immediately go to level 2 in round 1. One interesting concept though is that as you unlock kind of more figures and you open more packs yourself, you can actually level up these characters. You might want to balance out the characters you want to level up in your deck and the ones that you just want to sell to your customers. Because when opening packs, the average cost of the figures is higher than of the pack itself. So usually I find it quite profitable to sell the figures. While you are playing this game, the store continues to run and your employees are selling out pretty much usually all of your stock in the early game. And I haven't played too much of the game, so I don't have a mega store, but I think it's really neat that you get a lot of cash flow. So once you get out of like this mini game, you can buy more stock, shelf things, and one thing to pay attention to is the market price, because the cost of items changes per day, so even your sell price. And eventually what you want to do is probably buy in bulk for your warehouse when the things are cheap and sell them at the market price or a bit higher for profit. Because it is an early access game, I think it is necessary to highlight some of the things I did not like. So for example, I did mention that the minigame is too simplistic. It is easy, and especially because you can just put 10 characters, 10 figures into your deck. It is very repeatable. You can get the same characters, you can unlock some of the higher cost characters kind of quicker, or like getting level trees easier. And I think there's like a bit of balance that is required. Something else I noticed is that the battling system is a bit not necessarily buggy, but there are some things like the raise benefits like light, soldier, etc. A lot of them were very repetitive, like gaining health and damage, and it was not very distinct. So I think that kind of is my main concern with the game, where I think the shop thing is done flawlessly. I don't think there's much improvement that needs to be done there. But the tabletop battling minigame, if you are focusing on that, I think it will get a bit lackluster and repetitive because of these minor issues. So I'm wondering how much of that can be polished within a simulator game. The other thing that is obvious with these early access games is the amount of content. Of course, I have not played too much of the game. I'm only 3 hours in, and I feel like I've already explored a lot of the stuff, and that is a bit of a problem. I can see that there needs to be more content, more figures, and maybe more variety in the minigame itself, as I mentioned, like different types of perks. I like what there is right now. It is definitely something that has potential. I actually was surprised by how much fun I've had, but it's also one of those games where if I come back to this in like 3 or 6 months, I'm gonna have much more fun than I'm having today. I'm glad I own the game, I'm glad I played it, but it can be so much better. I want there to be more, and that's totally fine for an early access game to have. I like, as I said, the shop management aspect, and I actually look forward to its updates. That is basically my first impression of Table Battle Simulator, so I do recommend keeping an eye out on it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I thank you for watching. Bye bye.